We just saw a video, or hopefully you just saw a video, on switches in series. Now we're going to look at switches in parallel. And things in parallel, schematically, something in series, like the switches that we were just looking at, they kind of look like this. Right, so both of these need to be depressed in order to make a connection along this line. Things in parallel look more like this. Right, so either one of these could be closed, and then it would allow electricity to freely flow through here. So this is more equivalent to something like if switch 1 is true, or switch 2 is true. Light up. So this is equivalent to a programmatic OR statement, right? So the way that this gets wired up, and there are a couple different ways of doing this, but the simplest way is we can take this right here, and so I'm going to pop this in here, right? And so now what we've got going on is this switch is electrically connected along here. So this is now a switch here. And then the other thing that we're going to want to do, we take another wire, and then we can pop this in right over here. Nope, it started to slip out of its, there we go. Pop it in right here. And so now either one of these, when I press them, the LED will light up. So the electricity still has to go through a switch, right? Boop, boop. But now it's either one. If I press both, it'll still work. It's not any brighter or dimmer because it still just goes through this one resistor. But these two switches now are in parallel. It means that they're running like side by side. This is the other way in which you'll find circuits being built, or the other way that like circuits sort of appear when you're working with them. Again, this is one way of building something in parallel. You could have a resistor here and a resistor here, and just pull this over. So it could look, and that would look like. Unplug this. I shouldn't have unplugged that wire. But if I wanted to have these in parallel with multiple resistors, these are the same value resistors here, right? It's just now there's two of them. It would look like this, right? So again, either one is going to light it up. Boop, 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 boop. And so these are also in parallel right here. So when things are in parallel, there's a little bit more wiring that goes in there, but it also can sometimes offer a little bit more flexibility. So experiment with that, right? You could try out a couple different ways. You could have a bunch of LEDs that are in parallel. You could have one or two that are in series. In fact, try stringing up a number of LEDs in series and see how many you can do, and then try stringing up a bunch of LEDs in parallel and see how many you can do. And that'll basically be dependent on how much voltage is being provided. So a couple different things to play around with. But yeah, these are the two different ways that you'll sort of like see circuits in action, series and parallel.